you was on your way out the door. Big fat pig.
I know you've been telling me that for 3.5 years. Temple Terrace, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Hi, Bob. Remember, where there is somebody good, there is always somebody is the master.
Oh, the master of what, sir?
He is the master in entertainment. He puts forward his points very subtly.
What
if
points,
you
sir?
are perceptive, you would understand.
Oh, if I was perceptive, I would understand that. I see. In other words, because he lets you on every day.
No, I don't
He's
ever
great.
call Lionel. Never.
No, of course not.
The only person I call is you.
Right.
Not even Teddy.
Right.
You are the only person I speak to.
Why would that, sir? Why would that be, sir?
Well, because you bring up points that are not in agreement with mine.
Oh.
And sometimes in agreement with mine.
Mm-hmm.
And you are controversial, I must admit.
Mm-hmm.
However, Lionel is the master.
Okay, great, sir.
All right, Bob.
Well, you go stand over the sign that says Spilkis.
Bye.
Bye. Clearwater, you're on there at 970 WFLA.
Bob, thanks for this opportunity to speak to you. I can only say one thing in your defense. I believe that you are a man who has the courage of his convictions, and I will applaud that more than I would any of your convictions. I believe, as far as abortion is concerned, that any woman has a right to make a decision at the time of inception. Beyond that, she's not dealing with the rights of her body. She's dealing with the rights of a body that she has helped to create.
You're going to stand under the sign that says Spilkis.
Well, I don't usually stand under one sign or another too long.
You would find a discussion of whether or not a woman had a right to do what she wanted with her own body to be boring, right?
No, I would not. It's too serious to be bored. It is too serious to find boring, and I think anybody that would say that it was has got the intellect of plankton. As far as Lionel is concerned, I think he has the IQ about room temperature in a very cool room.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess that's supposed to soften me up for your anti-abortion, right?
Well, I am very much anti-abortion, but like I said, that is my personal conviction. Also, when it comes to gun control, I honestly do not believe in it. I believe that it is a right, and if you do not believe
Amazing. You've got the right to carry around a killing machine, but a woman doesn't have the right to do what she wants with her own body.
Well, the killing machine, if used within the confines of the law, is correct.
Yeah.
Using your body to kill is premeditated murder. That baby doesn't have any choice. She had a choice back when.
The baby isn't a human being, sir.
Pardon?
Well, the baby isn't a human being, but the woman is.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Well,
at conception.
Sir, what
that is the
yes,
point
sir.
of... See, now that's what I was talking about, conviction.
Sir, what human traits does that fetus have?
Say again?
What human characteristics?
I'm not a scientist or a doctor. I wouldn't get
sir,
into that.
Sir,
I know it has a soul.
You know it has a soul.
Yes, I do. By conviction.
I see. So because of your religious beliefs...
You can call me a...
No, I'm just going to hang up on you. Because of your religious beliefs, other people have to be dictated to. I see, sir. I see. Don Richards standing by the WFLA news desk. Off it is now to Tampa. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob, two things. I heard the guy that called up Lionel this morning, and he had seen you on the television interview. I believe it was with Bill Ratliff?
I'm not sure which one he's talking about. I've probably done,
he called up Lionel
half a dozen of them in 3 years.
Okay, and he said that when you made that comment about you would never call a radio station, when I happened to catch the interview. When I saw it, I immediately thought, I can understand that, because for me it's a major ordeal, to call. I get nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you can differentiate between, having a talk show and calling up. How do you do that? I mean, you could be nervous calling up, but...
Well, I'm in control in here. I'm in total control. I, decide what gets talked about, how long it gets talked about, in what way it gets talked about. And I'm sitting here all by myself. I mean, you're responding to me, not me to you. At home, as a caller, it would be the exact opposite, and I'm just way too shy.
That makes sense. That makes sense. When he called up this morning and then he called you up this afternoon, I immediately felt that he took you out of context, because I did see the interview. Lionel, now, the other thing is that I don't really understand the feud, because if you can call it a feud, I can watch Saturday Night Live reruns, or I can watch Crossfire and enjoy them both. I get something out of both of them.
Oh, 1 second here. I have no feud. I just respond when people talk about me.
Well, maybe
that's not a feud.
Maybe the people are trying to make
a feud.
If I had a
feud, I'd be downstairs in the general manager's office saying this bozo's got to go, this bozo's irresponsible, whatever it might be. And quite the contrary. I basically am disappointed in Lionel because he isn't better, because he's far more talented than I am.
Well,
far more.
Somebody else made a comment, he called Lionel's show, and said, I would love to see the both of you get together. It'd be like Leonard and Hearns last night. You know, I'd sell tickets and some popcorn in the aisles. And
Sorry, he's not ready.
Well, it's two different things. I can enjoy both. It's good variety. And, it's two different things entirely.
No, I'm sorry, he's not ready. When he states his opinions, when he breaks some new ground, when he accomplishes something worthwhile, then he'll be my peer.
I'd like to ask you something else, please.
Sure.
I don't watch much TV, at least not for the last couple of years. I listen to a lot of talk radio, and I'm really curious. I'm interested. How do you, not personally, how do you feel about Lionel as a talk show host?
I told you
personally.
I told you during the course of my my monologue this afternoon. I'd be delighted to repeat it to you. He's an extremely intelligent, extremely witty, extremely charming, extremely engaging young man. That's part of his problem. He hasn't suffered enough. He does not understand. He has no real compassion for people who have. When you can sit there and say things like, hey, I'm bored with talks about abortion, when women in this country, possibly as soon as next Monday, will lose that opportunity. I'm sorry, that angers me. It angers me very much. He's very talented, but he doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Lionel is far more talented, or excuse me, let me rephrase that, believes he's far more talented than he is. He's more talented than any human being has a right to be, but he isn't 1/10 as talented as he thinks he is. So consequently, he doesn't work.
But what he does well.
Sometimes.
He makes me laugh and you piss me off. And if this is the content of your program to trash people, I would have to trash you because of your intolerance.
Well, you just did. 11 minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock. Welcome back, you lucky people. It is a Tuesday, June the 13th, 1989. Yes, I am the magnificent Lassiter, with you until 6, as I am every weekday, right here at News Radio 970 WFLA. Hi there, Clearwater. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, magnificent Lassiter.
Good afternoon, Clear.
I really get angry at people who could not care of what goes on about the abortion issue, gun control, you name it. The apathy in this country is truly astounding, and the only way that I can figure out why people are so uncaring of what is going on here is the fact that they have always had freedom and that they have absolutely no concern about maybe losing it. It doesn't make any difference whether it's freedom of choice, whether it's freedom to be able to walk the streets, you name it. There's so many things, and it really angers me to think that Lionel would encourage something like this.
Whoa.
Not encourage.
So it's been going on long since before he got his gig.
Well, I know that. But what I mean to say by that, encourage the people to express their opinion that they really couldn't care less, and neither could he. Lionel is very talented, and I did listen to him, and I do listen to him occasionally, but most of the time I find him extremely boring. I really couldn't care less about the music that sounds horrible, the jokes that sound terrible, and the absolute buffoons who call up. I just truly agree with you on this. I think it's very important that we raise the consciousness of the people in this country and have them recognize that it is absolutely important that women have the right to choose, that we help the oppressed, the people who are not earning a decent living wage. These are all the problems that we're facing today, and I think if we don't do something about it, or at least care to do something about it, then, each year's just going to...
Well, I don't know. Crazy me, I would think it would be at least as important as to who you run into in the gun range.
Well, absolutely.
That's important, too. Hey, everything in life is important.
I understand that, and, there are a lot of things that Lionel does that are important, even the jokes and all that, but to say that they're not, they really couldn't care less about some of the very important issues which really affect all of us. And I would say that all of us are affected by what is going on today, and to say that, I don't care, there's nothing I can do about it is ridiculous. Okay. This is exactly the apathy that has created this sort of thing, and, it's the 80s, and hopefully we'll be leaving the 80s soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, T. One line available. It is in Pinellas County. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob. Good
Hi.
afternoon. I've got several things and people I'd like to trash. I'd like to trash Ronald Reagan and the Congress for our deficit, which we now get to enjoy. And I'd like to trash Mr. Bush for vetoing the minimum wage. I think the minimum wage ought to be tied to some kind of inflation factor so that people can enjoy some kind of decent standard of living. And I'm a Republican, by the way. I also want to trash Lionel for his approach to his show, for his vocabulary. He seems to be stuck on sexual things, as Liz Richards used to be. I think the media in general needs to be trashed for their approach to the abortion issue. I think they need to, and I agree with the earlier caller from Clearwater, I think that women and men do have a choice, and their choice should be made before they come together in their intimate act.
Oh, I see. So all pregnancies are a direct result of lust.
Yeah, well, I think once they make the choice not to use birth control, then they have the responsibility.
Well, what about when the birth control is used but doesn't function?
If it doesn't function properly,
yeah.
And she does get pregnant?
Yeah. Or what about a woman who's, now approaching 50, who has been told that she's been infertile for years now, that she's past her change in life, and then suddenly wakes up one morning pregnant? What about that?
I still think if she doesn't want the child, she should give it up.
Give it up for adoption. In other words, she should go through a life-threatening procedure based upon what, sir? Your religious views? Because the baby has a soul?
I do
Does the fetus have a soul, sir?
Pardon me?
Does the fetus have a soul?
I believe that they do, yes.
I see. So because you have religious beliefs about something, other people should immediately fall down, change their lives for your religious beliefs.
Well, I believe
risk their lives for your religious beliefs.
If it's made into law.
Law, sir? Law, sir?
I think just as...
in other words, it should be made into law because it's your religious belief.
No, I think whatever the courts decide, that we should all abide by it.
Well, why, sir, would people of your persuasion try to change the court's mind? The court's already decided.
Well, we're not changing the court. Believe me, as far as these people going to the abortion clinics and doing all that, I'm against that.
Well, that's good.
I think that whoever the president...
Glad to hear that you're against trespassing. So in other words,
I think it's ridiculous.
Then in other words, you don't think that abortion is murder.
Pardon me?
You don't think that abortion is murder, then?
Yes, I do.
Well, sir, if you think that it was murder, then why wouldn't you want people to go in and try to stop a murder being committed?
Oh, I think they're violating the law.
Well, sir, if you were walking down the street and you passed by somebody's house and you looked through the window and you saw an intruder in there, in the striped shirt and little mask, choking the woman of the house, wouldn't you trespass upon her property to go in there and stop that murder?
I think, I'd have to deal with that situation as it came up.
You'd have to deal with that situation when it came up?
I'd call the police first.
Oh, you'd wait 15 or 20 minutes for the cops to get there while the intruder's killing the woman. My goodness, sir, what a tremendous respecter of life you are.
If you've got a gun or something like that, you can't.
No, I said he was choking her, sir, choking her. It takes two hands to choke. In other words, so if he had a gun, he would either have to be holding it between his knees, under his armpit, or in his teeth.
Well, if he was choking her, then I could possibly take that situation, that particular one, into account, and I'd rather. But
you tell me that you tell me you love saving life of somebody else's baby, but not the poor woman in the house who's being choked by the burglar.
Well, I think the abortion issue.
Sir, it's not an abortion issue. Come on, let's be honest with each other. It's a matter of keeping women under control.
No, sir, it's not that at all.
No, of course not. I must have been mistaken.
I've got
a piss poor case is what you got, sir. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hi, Tampa.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
I have a good analogy. I do believe. You cater after the intelligent crowd. Lionel is a caller. He caters after callers. It's funny, but the people that used to call you, who don't now, are calling Lionel.
No, sir, that's not the situation at all.
Well,
As a matter of fact, I believe I heard you express that opinion about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago on Lionel's show, and if it wasn't you, it was somebody else did the exact same thing. What it is, and I'm not trying to be flip here, it happens to be the truth. I do not like hearing the same voices every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have discouraged the chronic caller.
Mm-hmm.
Lionel doesn't have the gazungas to yet. So he's still stuck with chronic callers that I either won't allow on my show or that have given up on trying to get on my show.
Okay, fine. But the thing is, you cater after the intelligent crowd. I think
come on, give me a
Lionel
break.
caters after the individual that does not read the paper and is more interested in rubbers and gas stations.
No, sir, I totally disagree with you in terms of, who I am catering to. I'm catering to the people that likes the blood and guts and gore traffic intersections. My friend, I've got to run. Speaking of traffic intersections, thank you much for the call. Hillsborough 9909. Largo. Hi, Larg. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yes, Mr. Lassiter. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Largo. Yourself?
I'd like to know just who do you think you are criticizing our friend Lionel?
I'm Bob Lassiter, the magnificent Lassiter.
Don't you know you're operating on his turf? He's a genuine Southern belle, sir. He's a true Southerner.
Whatever his sexual persuasion is of little concern to me whatsoever. I'm just concerned when he says things like
he's a true Southerner. Now, you started off by criticizing the girl on Channel 10.
No, I didn't start off that way at all.
Yes, you did.
No, I started off by criticizing Tim Coles.
Yeah,
then I moved on to Cheryl Brown.
You started off with your sex programs. That's the way you started off.
No, ma'am, I don't do programs on sex, although I'm sure you may think that
you
much
did
of
about
anything
a year
is
and a half
sex.
ago. That's the way you got started.
No, ma'am, I got started 3.5 years ago.
That's the way you started with your sex program.
No, ma'am, I got started 3.5 years ago.
Criticizing everybody. Just who do you think
you
are?
Ma'am, I started criticizing people from day one.
You're just a fly-by-night here.
You're not a Southerner.
You're not a Southerner.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
You're a round peg in a square hole here, boy. Who do you think you are?
A round pig in a square hole.
You're a round peg in a square hole. You don't
Ma'am, I'm not going to call you animal names. I see no reason for you to call me animal names.
You don't fit in here at all. Why don't you go back north where you belong?
Ma'am, I've lived below the Mason-Dixon line for the majority of my life now.
You've been here about a year and a half, starting off with your sex program.
I've been in Tampa for almost 3.5 years, actually 4 years.
Well,
I was in Miami for 5 years prior to that.
You're taking on the wrong one when you start with Lionel.
Ma'am, do you realize I even lived in Richmond, capital of the Confederacy?
I don't care where you lived. You don't belong here.
Ma'am, I belong. I'm an American. I belong wherever the hell I want to be.
You never fought for America.
Doesn't make any difference, ma'am. Neither did you.
Well, I'm not a soldier.
I'm not a soldier either, ma'am. I'll have you know.
I know. That's what you said. You're 4F, aren't you?
No, ma'am. I was 1Y.
What are you doing?
It was 1Y, ma'am.
Why does a 4F come in here and try to tell everybody else
I don't know anybody on the air who has a 4F. If I was a 1Y, I couldn't get a 4F.
You and TG are about the same.
TG? Are you referring to T.G. Shepherd, the well-known country singer?
No, this crazy woman that keeps calling you.
Oh, TJ.
TJ, yeah.
No, TJ. J as in Jack.
TJ.
Not G as in jerk.
When we get you and TJ up in Washington, then you can make the rules.
Ma'am, I don't make rules.
No, you sure like to, though.
No, ma'am, I wouldn't like to make any rules.
Trying everybody to tell everybody what to do when you don't know yourself what you're doing.
You're the only person on this program who's told anybody what to do. You keep telling me to leave.
Well, I wish you would.
Well, ma'am, you don't get to make... Ma'am, when you get up to Washington, then you can make the rules.
You just don't fit in here at all. You're not a true Southerners.
Ma'am,
the Southerners don't talk about their privates in public like you do.
I don't... that was Ted Webb, man, not
No,
me.
That was you.
Another Southern boy.
You mentioned the penis a while ago. That isn't polite in public.
No, ma'am, it wasn't my penis I was referring to. It was someone else's.
Somebody should have taught you some manners.
And it was a penis extender, a .38 caliber penis extender is precisely what I said.
A true Southerner doesn't talk about such things in public.
You've already done so yourself.
That shows your
Rocky,
strike.
is this you? Are you trying to do a new Mrs. Airstream or something?
I live here, sir. I don't live in an Airstream.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Do you play shuffleboard?
Uh-huh.
You do play shuffleboard.
I'll play shuffleboard if I want to.
Well,
I live here the year round, mister. I'm not a fly-by-night like you.
Well, no, I beg your pardon. I live here year-round, too.
You don't even own your own home here.
No, ma'am.
What's this hang-up that you have about children all the time? You don't have children of your own.
That's correct, ma'am. I don't have any hang-ups about children.
And you holler about guns. You don't even carry a gun. You go around socking people in the mouth.
All right, Rocky. Come on now.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
You can break character now, Rocky.
How long ago was that when you socked this man in the mouth? He should have cleaned up on you good.
Didn't sock anybody in the mouth, man.
You did, too, in Largo.
No, I didn't, man.
Not very long ago. It was in the paper.
No, ma'am.
You'd rather
ma'am.
Since I've been listening to you.
Oh, come on.
Matter of fact, I just got off the phone with Lionel about 10 minutes ago, and he couldn't agree more that this is just hilarious.
Great.
It's really
enjoying
good. And
I don't enjoy you at all.
Well, I don't. Maybe just let me reiterate what I said this morning, because I don't know if you accurately reported to your listeners what I said.
No, I know what you said. You said that you found talking about the minimum wage boring.
No. See.
Yes, Oscar.
Can I repeat what I said?
Well, if you'd like to change what you said, sure, you can attempt to.
I said, well, I find the minimum wage to be a very important issue. I find abortion to be very important, and the death penalty to be extremely important. Much greater minds than yours and your listeners have been wrestling with these subjects for decades. And I do not choose to want to listen to you and a bunch of half-wits try to solve problems that the greatest minds in our country have not been able to solve. And if it's between listening to you or some jerk from Largo... Wait, Bob, can I finish?
Okay. By the way, we're going to dig up the tape and find out exactly what you said this morning.
Okay.
Oscar, I don't believe, and this is why I'm going to break in here, I don't believe I've ever said I was here to solve problems. Oscar, what I try to do is to raise people's conscience, to get people aware and discussing. This is a real important time.
Well, Bob,
for things like minimum wage and abortion. Unless you live well and you got your own law practice and you just don't give a damn.
No. It's that people should, if people have to use you as a source of information and to raise their consciousness,
I don't give out
they've got
information.
serious
I don't give out information. I don't give out information.
Well,
I give out opinions, and I've never said anything but.
Well, if people need to listen to you and your opinions to form their own opinions or to educate themselves as to these topics, they have got serious problems.
No, you seem to have a very serious problem with the First Amendment, Oscar.
I pick up my...
Aren't you an officer of the court, Oscar?
Oh, no, Bob, again, I think you're confusing the issue here. The First Amendment has nothing to do with it. I could care less what anybody else does or what anybody
else thinks or what anybody else says. Right, of course. You don't have any discussion about anything except what's interesting to Oscar, where Oscar had dinner last night, where Oscar is going to drink this afternoon.
No, I've already been drinking.
Boring, self-centered man, Oscar.
Well, Bob...
You're also an incredibly insensitive man when you called up and pretended to be a black person earlier in Lionel's tenure.
I would
saying
never do
very
that,
provocative
Bob.
things.
I would never do that, Bob.
I would hope not, Oscar, but it's funny.
Fact,
I was told that it was you. I could be wrong.
In that respect,
well, like I said, it's not a slander, Oscar, is it? Because
well, that's right. You're an expert on slander now. That's right. I forgot about that.
What's that mean, Oscar?
Who's Fez Wadley? Who's Jacob? Speaking of pretending to be characters,
are you suggesting
driving characters, who are those people?
Who are those those people?
Yes, they're characters that you have contrived.
Whoa, Oscar, you stop right there, boy. You stop right there. They're not characters that I contrived. They're people who called into this program.
Oh, that's how you choose to characterize.
No, Oscar, I don't have my friends call in here, Oscar. I don't have my friends fill up my show.
And don't you dare! I know, Bob.
You're a liar, Oscar.
And you're a
miserable liar.
And you've quit smoking cigarettes too, right, Bob?
Admit it, Oscar.
And you've quit smoking cigarettes too, right, Bob?
Right, Oscar.
You're making a liar out of Dr. Sobel, by the way.
Oh, really, Oscar?
Yes.
Oscar, what's your last name?
None of your business.
Is it, what's his last name, Michael? You're not going to come on the air and say, Lapidus, huh?
That's me, that's
Oscar
right.
Lapidus,
that's right.
You are now accusing me, Bob Lassiter, of contriving callers.
Right.
And what was that about Dr. Sobel, Oscar?
Something about an all-children's hospital telethon, Bob. That's what it was.
What about?
A lot of people saw you smoking there, Bob.
Saw me smoking there, really?
But, Bob,
Really, Oscar?
Yeah, Bob.
Prove it, Oscar.
The bottom...
Oscar, I am now demanding that you prove it.
No, I demand you disprove it.
No, Oscar. Oscar.
Bob.
Oscar, what a poor attorney. Would you go to the same law school that, some other famous attorneys went to?
No, I went to... Bob, let me just run this by you one more.
You're the most despicable. You're the most despicable scumbag.
I know, Bob.
How dare you come on this radio show and make charges?
I've seen the Arbitrend.
Really?
You're desperate. I could hear the desperation reeking through the telephone.
Oscar, it was my day part that was up, all the others
You're
were
losing
down.
it, Bob.
Yeah.
You're losing it, and you're jealous.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite obvious that you're jealous.
Yeah.
Then again, someone who's never had a family, never had any kids, never had any roots anywhere, I could see you being insecure, and I could see you being jealous. And it doesn't do you well, Bob. We liked you a lot more before you got jealous. Now you're jealous. Because of that jealousy, you become a loser. And the last name is Lapidus. Spell it right.
I think I will spell it right, Oscar. You are going to hear from me.
And you're jealous.
Yeah. Michael, flag it. I want to take that one home, the original, with me. Oscar, you are the most despicable, pathetic caller I've ever had the displeasure of having on this show. I've taken a lot of crap from a lot of people, Oscar. But you're just a hopeless liar. Talk about desperate, Oscar. Well, if I did a talk show and had a friend like that, I think I'd probably slit my throat. By the way, Oscar, the opportunity for you to come on the show and explain to people why you find these issues so boring when they talk about them still stands, Oscar. But Oscar, in no way in hell you're going to get away with the things that you just said this afternoon. No way in hell. I promise you that, sir. I swear that to you. You are not going to come on this program and accuse me of a number of things of which you have no knowledge of whatsoever and cannot prove. I promise you.
I'm caller.
Great.
My first time today. I was the first time caller this morning to the show.
Great.
I have to say, I don't know, I got a foot in Spilkus and a foot in Schmookus, whatever that means. I started listening a couple months ago. I think both you guys, Lionel has the potential to become a first-class humorist, and you, well, hey, you're the magnificent one. You're the mad dog.
That's right, magnificent.
I really think you guys should do a joint show.
Why would you think that?
Oh, I think it'd be great for the audience.
I don't think it'd be great, to have a guy that doesn't give a damn about anything that's going on. It's an 80s guy, kind of into his own head trip.
Oh, that's not the case. I don't think he doesn't give a damn.
He says a lot of things boring.
Oh, that was his listeners that found it boring.
No, he was the one that said he was also bored with a lot of these things, too.
Well, I only heard about half the show. But, no, I think it'd be a good fight. I think you've done it with Sam McClellan, and I think Lionel's...
Sam's paid his dues. Sam's paid his dues and let you know where he stands.
Well, I think it would be. What?
It's as simple as that.
You don't think it's going to happen?
I'm telling you it's not going to happen.
I don't know.
You know, a guy that tells me that he's bored with these issues, hey, what am I going to talk to him about? Something he's bored with?
Talk about talk radio.
If somebody's been in the business for 4 months, maybe 5.
Well, you say he's listened to it for over 10 years.
And doesn't quite know how to read a book, apparently, from what he tells his friends.
No, I don't.
Like Oscar?
What?
Like Oscar?
He doesn't know how to read a book. I don't understand.
Ratings book.
Oh. I didn't catch that part.
So not much to talk with him about, I guess. You know, I don't go to gun stores and gun ranges, and so I'm kind of left out there.
Well,
I hang around bars introducing myself to people, so I guess I'm kind of left out there.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like, you're the number one, and the prevailing logic in advertising is if you're the number one, you don't mention the other one. And you certainly wouldn't want to want you do.
I beg your pardon. That's stupid.
What?
When people take shots at your beliefs, and you respond. You respond. And then when people hang around with other buddies who pull one of the most despicable stunts I've ever had the displeasure of hearing in my life this afternoon, you respond. You respond. Respond with everything you've got.
Oh, you definitely did that.
Your whole soul.
You definitely did that. You had me driving around in the car an extra half an hour to listen to the first half hour of the show.
Well, great. Glad you did. Thanks so much for the call. St. Petersburg, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, Lassiter. Listen, what makes you think that you're so high on the moral scale? I mean, you've come over to St. Pete, bragged on those poor old people, playing shuffleboard court. That's okay, right?
Wait a second. I don't never recall saying I was high on the moral scale.
Well, I mean, coming across like you're, King Kong or something, everybody has to clear everything they do or say through you.
I beg your pardon, sir. I don't believe I ever suggested that.
You don't have to suggest it. It's obvious when you listen to your show. You had problems with everybody from Freddie Mertz to Paul Harvey. You can't get along with anybody. What is your problem, man? You got a great job there. You sit on your duff and just make these, statements. You don't say, and when someone asks you, well, Lassiter, what do you think we should do? Oh, I don't know what I should do. You should do. I mean, it's your problem. You guys.
Could you be a tad more specific on that?
Yeah, I have to go in my tape library and bring out the tape, and run it back and see what I'm talking about. Right. You always come across with topics of discussion, but you never have any solutions. All you do is bring it to the attention.
Sir, did it ever dawn on you that many of these things don't have simple solutions?
They don't. No, they don't.
That's right. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why it's important to talk about it.
Everybody's a dummy if they don't have any solutions, right?
No, sir. No, I don't think I'd say that. I think people are dummies if they haven't thought about solutions.
I don't believe your insecurity, man. It just amazes me. It used to be kind of funny listening to you, but you just constantly, someone doesn't rut, and you don't agree with something you come across. Lionel at 9 o'clock in the morning gets us going. We don't want to hear about abortion. We don't want to hear about gun control at 9 in the morning.
No, of course not. See, of course not. You've already made up your mind, and you don't want to be have the possibility of having your mind changed.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last.
I said you apparently have already made up your mind and don't want to have the possibility of having it changed.
Oh, of course I do. But at 9 o'clock, a lot of us have to get up, and we have a hard day to go to, work day. You know what that means? At 9 o'clock in the morning. When you go to work, you don't want to hear that stuff. I mean, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's different. Sure, you're concerned about it. But am I going to get up in the morning and listen to someone talk about it?
Sir, I don't believe I suggested anybody should talk about abortion at 9 o'clock in the morning.
You just got done saying that, it's boring. All right, another word for it is not appropriate, okay?
Sir, I'm not the one who said it was boring. It was somebody else who said it was boring.
Well, why do you take such issue?
As a matter of fact, they said it was boring at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Why do you take such issue with their, when someone speaks their mind, or, do they have to clear it with you? Part of your job description?
Sir, no. You see, that was the problem. They were somewhat concerned because I wasn't clearing it with them.
Oh my God! People were calling up, and they were giving their opinions to Lionel.
Right.
about what was boring to them, what was, they didn't like this or they like that. I'm sure. What did you have? An extension line on the phone?
No, sir. You see, as a matter of fact, I just finished listening to the tape, and it was our good friend Lionel, Mr. Talk Radio, who, with Mr. Lapidus, who we'll be hearing from you very shortly, went on this morning at great length, and it was Mr. Talk Radio who was saying how, some people sit there and pontificate and well, we'll be listening to that a little bit later on. You'll get an opportunity to hear it.
You're incredible, Lassiter. You got such a great job there. You seem preoccupied. I think what your problem is, you hear footsteps coming behind you. You're insecure about
it. That's right, sir. That's just like I said in my monologue. They are behind me, and that's exactly where they're going to stay. And people have nothing to celebrate by being behind someone else.
What about when you're constantly ragging on the old people, or you're constantly trying to disprove Christ to all these people that have nothing better to hold on to except their religion? Don't you feel bad about that?
No, sir. I don't feel bad about talking about, the truth.
The truth, yeah. You mean like going down to the shuffleboard court and making fun of those poor old people? And that's basically what you were doing. You were out there with a loudspeaker, yelling. They wouldn't even let you on the property.
That's right.
And you find there's nothing wrong with that?
No, sir. I don't find anything wrong with that at all. What do you find wrong with it?
Pardon me?
What do you find wrong with it?
These people aren't bothering anybody. That's the only thing that they have to look forward to. And here you come, Mr. Big Shot, come down there and disrupt what they're doing. The only thing.
No, I didn't disrupt what they were doing, sir. They continue to do it.
Then why did they keep you? Why did they bar you from their property?
Because they didn't agree with my political views.
Oh, your political views were yelling things through your bullhorn, right?
Well, I was yelling through my bullhorn when things like "hello."
And also,
about shuffleboard.
It seems like you're preoccupied with disproving people's religion.
No, I'm not preoccupied with disproving people's religion, sir. I am sometimes preoccupied with pointing out the hypocrisy of people who say they are of a certain religion and then do nothing to practice
Well, why don't you address that to the people that are saying it rather than generalizing all the time?
I do, sir, wherever and whenever possible.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Lassiter, you've become a real drag, you really have. I mean, it used to be funny, but you... If it's still hot here,
I must go along, sir. I must go along for Don Richards, but I thank you ever so much for listening to my show every day, even though it has become a real drag. Don Richards standing by at the... God, what do you think you would listen for? Whatever. Don Richards standing by... Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hi, Tampa.
I can't believe that guy's an attorney, but maybe then again I can't believe it. I guess it's more typical, and that's unfortunate. How can a guy who has no value in people's opinion survive in a system where a jury system is based on the opinion of just average guys who really have no reason to have an opinion at all?
Are you referring to Mr. Lapidus?
Yes. I guess the legal system, they call it your peers, but I've yet to see a jury of eminent scholars. Maybe you would listen to your opinion if you let him run his meter. But beyond that, the guy,
I will also...
I'm exasperated. I'm sorry, Bob.
I'm at an absolute loss for words as to why this man would come on and malign Dr. Sobel. Why this man would come on and accuse me of creating characters. Why this man would come on and... I defy him to back up any of those charges.
Well, it's a typical,
and I'm going to give him an opportunity to back them up, too.
Yeah, it's like the attorney who's defending the rapist. He attacks the rape victim. I mean, when he can't win, he goes ahead and does a personal attack. And that's just absurd. It just made him look small. It did to me anyway. I don't know about the other people, but, unfortunately there's people out there like that. And unfortunately, all too often, that's typical for people in his position. And that's, I don't want to go on a tirade on attorneys, but it's not my favorite people. So, thanks, Bob, and I appreciate you making me think quite often.
You're kind, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
Off it is to St. Petersburg. Whoops. Oh, my goodness, got all those things there. Let's do that. Off it is now again to St. Petersburg. Hi, St. John, the air.
Lassiter.
WFLA. Yes, sir.
I think that you just happen to be a very sorry person that you cannot act in a professional manner when someone else does not say something that agrees with you.
I see. Well, how's that, sir?
Well, just because a man does not think that something is so important to be talked about over and over again, such as abortion or anything else. It doesn't not mean that it's not an important issue. It just means that you can get bored over talking about it over and over again, just like anything. And just because he does not agree with you, that makes him wrong in your book. You are so afraid of people who do not agree with you. That's why you ridicule them. That's why you cut them off. That's why you press your little button. And of course, after you press the button, then you get to have your little say-so to try and prove how right you are.
Sir, I would point out to you that I've gotten where I am from having almost exclusively people on my show who disagree with me. And when I push buttons, sometimes it's because the show's over. Bye, guys.